Okay, I have sometimes I'm going to start just getting stuff off the car. Just start cutting all the zip ties and ripping some stuff out. Like I always say, anytime you can get in, even if it's like a half an hour a day, especially if it's busy work, it'll get you a long way. Let's throw that Vortex cover in the trash. Move my EFI source board. Man, this thing's nice and high. My wife got me a new tripod. I said I just wanted one that was taller than I was. And this folding Pro Master with the little ball and everything on it, it's quite the it's a nice piece. Tell you what. Then we'll get rid of all these vacuum lines as neatly as I can. Get rid of the O2 sensor. This intake's gonna have to come off. A lot of stuff is gonna have to come off, to be honest. Am I tightening it? I always tighten stuff before I loosen it. I don't know if you guys have that problem, or if it's just a YouTube mechanic issue. Oh. And partway through this, I'm going to be running out of injector. If I keep leaning on this thing, I have a contingency plan for you guys. Those 105-pound FIC injectors that I had before on my truck, before I put the 210s and some other tests in, I have been loaning them to Ryan Ackerman, the Whack Shack notch, and he is going to the 210s and giving me the 105s back. So at some point I'll be putting the 105-pound FICs back in this combination. Let me know when you think that's appropriate. I don't want to skew any results for now. Let's put the O2 sensor somewhere safe, like in the damn car. I'll just toss that guy in there. Can I pull these vacuum lines off without buying another whole reel and ruining them all? Most likely not. Most likely not. Probably gonna have to cut it all. How do you like my Krylon detail spray? I love your comments. People are like, man, it's looking nice. I'm like, guys, I spray painted it. It's exactly the same. I spray painted it and put a Vortex cover on. It's like the car show kit. And people are like, wow. Sometimes they're sarcastic. Other times I don't know if they know. I always like to make fun of those people. Like, they say this kind of looks crappy or it's kind of messy, and then you spray paint it and people are like, wow, you really cleaned it up. It's exactly the same, it just has spray paint on it, buddy. And I can't tell if you're being facetious or not. Anyway, saved a lot of that stuff. Score some points. Throw that in the car. Toss her in the truck. What do I want to go after next? Start pulling the... I'll just try to do some easy stuff here. As my little boy did arrive, he is healthy. 8 pounds, 4 ounces, 21 inches. Like a full head of hair. We were joking that he would have a beard. Doesn't have a beard yet. So, can't be sticking Jamie with the little guy too long. So I was like, can I get out there? Get some shit done? GSD? She's like, yep. I'm not gonna hide out here all day. I don't want to rip a car, like if I rip fuel lines and stuff out, it's gonna stink out here for a while. I don't want to do that to the kid yet. That's unplugged. Plug the coil packs. Take the 2 bolts out. If you put any more than 1 or 2 bolts in, you're a maniac. I can't understand why you would do that to yourself. You must have a lot of self-loathing. Too much shit in this engine bay. Here we go. Tear apart the perfectly good motor again. Trying to incite a riot. What size are you? I gotta tell you, I really like this loud valve / quiet muffler combination. I'm not just saying that. It's nice to be unassuming and quiet and be able to cruise on the highway without blowing your eardrums. Is this bumping the camera? I got the tripod like right against the car. It might be when I bump the car. A couple of you might get motion sickness. Nice and sticky. Good seal. Here she is. Alright, that's ready to come out. I'll probably go underneath and drop the other half really quick. I don't know what's under there. I think a 10 mil. Grab my 10. Grab a giant sheet of cardboard. My favorite tool. In the garage. A chunk of cardboard. Alright, what do I got? 10? I got a 10 and an 11. Is it a 10? I'll be damned. I think it's a 10. At least the 10 kind of fits. Alright. Put this back on by hand. Now, since I built this the one day, quietly by myself, you'll get to see a nice view of it, how it works. If you can't tell, some of you are like, oh, I'm an expert. I know exactly what's going on. Other people are like, I don't know how that works. I'd like to see maybe if you would show me. So, sick yet? Tossing cookies. See that? We come off the turbo, and that's the 3-inch exhaust that goes down under the car, nicely V-banded on. And then what happens here is when boost happens, blah, this guy opens up automatically, lets out all the pixies, all the horsepower pixies. Works great. Nice and quiet. Good split on there. I just bought that off Summit. A 3x3x3, because I try to build a few merges, and quite honestly, I do an awful job. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen my fab skills before. I'll center up here. Okay. Let's get this spark plug boot off. Let's pull these spark plugs. These are the spark plugs that were in the motor when it made 1,000 horsepower. Oh, check this out. One of them is getting a little beat up. I only used ones from a junkyard. I wonder if that one's... Yeah, they just get hot and worn out. That one's shitted up. The other ones look okay. I'm going to throw this one out, because that is going to cause misfires and horsepower loss. So we will... I made it in the trash can. You guys hear that swoosh? Take my word for it. It was beautiful. Dipstick, if I can get it with this guy. Nope. Let's get this guy. If you guys don't have a Milwaukee, I am not paid. I have not been given these, and I certainly have not been told by anyone at Milwaukee to represent their product. I just like Milwaukee stuff. If you will work for Milwaukee and you would like to reach out to me, I will not say no, because I already have about $1,500, maybe more, in Milwaukee stuff. And some viewers honestly had sent in some batteries and chargers they had laying around, so that has helped quite a bit. I have an assload of batteries always charged up now, so pull the dipstick out. Look at that oil. Look at that oil though. Focus, you fuck. AVE reference. Oil nice and clean. What's it smell like? Oil. Doesn't smell like rubbing alcohol. That's a bonus, I guess. Okay, let's get the plugs out and just keep trucking on things. Let's use this guy, and we'll use this guy. Now, anybody that has worked on an LS motor knows the significance of having a 1-inch extension. A lot of times, that's exactly what you need to get the spark plug out. A 1 and a 3, you can pretty much conquer the world with. And these are the plugs. I think I started saying this, I can't remember if I distracted myself like squirrel. These are the plugs that were in the car in this truck when it made over 1,000 horsepower. They have been in for a long time. They are doing great. Except for that one. Nah, it landed on cardboard. Or I'll just tell you that it landed on cardboard. I'm putting it back in anyway. Ugh. If you guys work on a dyno or work on other people's cars, you ever go to take a spark plug out and like wonder, what the fuck was that person thinking? They tighten these things down so hard sometimes. It blows my mind. Nice. Let me see if I can find that Rogue. Yep. She will live to fight another day. Where I want to put these. I'm going to stack them somewhere nice for now. Put this guy on here. Probably use the shorter one. What time is it? I need a big clock. And I was discussing with a guy in the YouTube comments. He said it would be neat to see if the intercooler makes any difference after I do the intake and the larger throttle. He said, I was ready to ask him, I was just say, hey, what about the outlet of the turbo? It's so small. And he made a, he already thought of that, and he jumped ahead on me, and he's like, I understand the outlet of the turbo is small, but blah, 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 he would be interested in seeing. And I said, maybe one day it would be cool, I'll cut my whole grill out, and I'll get my friends that can weld aluminum to build an intercooler that takes up like the entire center of the truck. That'd be funny. That's a good thing to bring up. Well, what if the intercooler changes the amount of power? What's funny is I made all that power with this. This has a relatively small intercooler in it, because this has a relatively small front end. I need my longer thing for this. That's what she said. This one's really... So who gorilla'd these on here? I don't like when these leak. So usually when I heat cycle the car, I will re-tighten these. And these are... I'd like to actually buy another set of these. I'm running low. I have almost no spares. Because they're usually broken and you start running out of these studs. Not studs, the exhaust bolts. There's a company I like to get them from, because I don't like the 10mm ones, and usually they're all rusty, and I actually, you know, I think about it when I go to install these. If you can't tell, I'm trying to make it not so boring. I'm going to try to discuss a lot about the car, what I'm doing, what people are asking while I'm doing this. I like the 13mm heads. And there's a company that sells, I think it's Potts Performance. Potts Performance on eBay. Extremely cheap, and these bolts they sell are excellent quality in my opinion. They don't sponsor me either. I wouldn't mind if they did. Wink wink. They sell these. That looks like a stock one. I think I'm totally out of the Potts ones. Yeah, I don't know what that one is either. Potts sells stainless ones, and they bolt right in. They're really nice. And I like to replace them on a lot of cars because you have a bunch of the broken 10 mils, and then you go to install them and you break more than 10mm. And then you're like, well, shit. But for a good price, they sell good hardware. I don't care. I mean, people are always like, go on McMaster-Car. Go on McMaster-Car, Matt. All that, it's hit. I don't like that website. It's too difficult for me to navigate. I need something simpler. That's for like engineering students. All the parts and shit on there. I need a direct link, an easier way to buy it. And then a lot of times they won't sell you something if you don't buy 100 of them. You understand my personal dilemma with this. Anyway, I think when I go back inside, I will order bolts just to have them, because there's 10s on that side, even though there's no weight over there. I like to put the 13mm heads on the side that supports the entire log and turbo, even though I haven't really had a problem with the 10 mils. It's just less stress on the bolt head, I think, anyway. And there's just small things that I think are worthwhile. That's one of them. So, I gotta go down underneath and dislocate the crossover pipe, and then I'm gonna pull this intake pipe off, and then I'm going to take the turbo drain off, and then I can pull the turbo in one assembly with the drain, because it's hard to, if you guys haven't realized, good tip here, it's hard to connect the drain to the bottom of the turbo. It's a real big pain in the ass, like huge pain in the ass, especially with these smaller turbos that have a really small form factor and a 10 drain. I think that I ground the side of the AN fitting off to make it fit, because it turns on and then there's a 2-bolt flange, and if it wasn't rotated right, it would interfere, and what happens then is the same thing. It tilts the flange and oil can come out. It's not sitting flush. So I ground it down, bolted that flat, attached everything, then put the screws in. Once this was on, I dropped the whole hose down with excess length, cut it to length, put the fitting on it under the car, and then I put it into the pan. So every time I take the turbo off, it takes considerably less time to unbolt it from the drain in the oil pan and pull the whole drain out. So if you don't have that going on and you're having woes and struggles, do that. Make your life easy. At Men's Warehouse, you're gonna like it, I guarantee it. Just give it a whirl. So I'm gonna see what I can dig up underneath, and then go from there, start getting some coolant out of the block, and maybe work on the other side. Back online. Alright, I got the drain disconnected from underneath. Didn't even have to jack it up. It's in there in the front. It's real nice. That's where I like to do it. In the corner, in the front, because it's always easy to reach. I like that. And I got my V-band disconnected from my crossover, so I'm going to do the rest of this for you guys live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. And then see how it comes out. You'll see what I mean about dropping it in with the drain and everything completely connected. I like to put away my tools while I work with them so I don't lose them. This drives other people nuts. But I don't give a shit. Is this guy loose? Let's See, once these are all loose, this is where Milwaukee pep talk comes in. Now there's more weight on the nose, so if you take the front out and you're trying to take the back out, you're trying to balance more load. So my only advice is leave the bolt, like the front one's hard to get to. So you leave this guy, you support your turbo with my little wastegate dump and everything. I've never tried to rip it out all in one piece since I changed everything. Get this guy out, don't let it wiggle so you don't butcher your threads. And then it's ready to rock, so let's see. Where's my drain? It's going in between here. Just gotta go. I might need to take this other intercooler pipe off because I have no wiggle room. I can't go forward. Nope, I got it. And my drain is in between the heater core hoses. Yeah, this guy I should have pulled out completely. I thought I could be slick and not take it out, but it's giving me the business right now. Yep, you annoying piece of shit. See the drain on there? Nice and easy. Then you just put the drain back on after you jam that thing back down. Set it all in the bed of the truck, storage bin, and look at that. You got my manifold, gasket, and then this is where I unbolted my crossover tube. And it stinks like E85 in here. Imagine that. Nice and smelly. And now, the water hoses and everything else are super easy to reach. This cylinder head should come off super easy. That one shouldn't be a problem. Brake booster is there, but luckily I don't have studs. Even if there were studs, you could pull the studs. Pain in the ass, but you could pull the studs. So this side's tighter, more of a bitch, but it doesn't have a turbo. And I should be able to pull that head out. And everything else, I should pull my battery off too. So I bet I'll tickle my starter. Well, maybe not. I'm not really going to be down there. Other than that, I'm just going to leave the oil in the motor. I'm sure coolant's going to get in the oil and everything else, but at this point, I don't care. It's not bothering me. So, what do we dive into next? Probably just start tearing the other side apart. A nice thing about pulling these heater hoses off is I'll pull the longer one and then push it down into my drain pan, and then what I'll do is I'll pull this one off and I'll blow into it, and it'll push, you know, a decent amount of excess that would get sloshed out anyway right out. Makes it less of a pain in the ass. I could hook it up to like shop air and turn it down to like 15 pounds and try to blow out as much coolant as possible before I rip the heads off so it doesn't make as much of a mess. I might actually try that just for fun, so I'm not totally shitting up this place. It's less to clean up then for me. It's getting cold out and miserable and annoying, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to pull that off. That was a pain in the ass. It wasn't that bad, but it literally would have been like bloop if that wasn't there. So we're doing good. We'll just keep on progressing.